Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot Media. A media briefing is to get underway shortly at Jamaica House, where Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expected to make an announcement in relation to the Joint Security Forces operation now on in sections of St. James. A strong security presence swooped down on the parish this morning and has been conducting spot checks in several communities. The Prime Minister called the press briefing shortly after. Our reporter Andrea Chisholm is at the office of the Prime Minister and will join us a little later to provide an update. And for more on the situation in Montego Bay, we are joined by our reporter Kirk Wright. Kirk, what's the latest there?
Good. Thank you very much. And we are in Montego Bay, and I can tell you that many residents in several of the more volatile communities woke up this morning to see the presence of police and soldiers saturated their community. So far, we've seen them at their base here at the Jamaica Defence Force, and we've seen them in the communities too, carrying out searches of public and private transportation. We did speak to some of the residents in Flanker who welcomed the presence of the police, and more so because of what's happening in that community. Their response, them being here, is in response to the rising crime in St. James, and we're also expecting the Prime Minister to announce in very short order. In fact, a press conference should be on its way now, where the Prime Minister will be making some serious announcement as it relates to helping to curtail the crime here in St. James.
The ground in St. James. And our reporter Lana Gay Franklin, she visited a number of communities where members of the security forces have been deployed, and she filed this report.
No stones unturned. From the old to the young, private and public passenger vehicles were stopped and searched. Maintaining a strong police military presence, communities of Rose Heights, Farm Heights, and even the city of Montego Bay. Persons were asked to disembark their vehicles while the searches were conducted. Even the media were not spared. We got a first-hand experience while traveling through Albion into the troubled community of Salt Spring. Hundreds of commuters, including school children, were also left stranded as most taxis kept out of sight. Some proceeded to make their way on foot. It's not business as usual for the parish of St. James. Lana Gay Franklin, TVJ News.
Thank you, Lana Gay Franklin there. And faced with a sharp increase in murders since the start of the year and public complaints that not enough is being done to quell the bloodletting, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government will be embarking on firm and resolute measures to bring the situation under control. Speaking yesterday evening at a function in Mandeville, Manchester, Prime Minister Andrew Holness declared that the time has come to protect the country from the destabilizing effect of crime. At the same time, he assured that human rights will be protected in the latest crackdown on crime. Civil Military Cooperation Officer of the Jamaica Defence Force, Major Basil Jarrett, spoke with our news team this morning about the reason for the major operation.
Right now, I can confirm that there is a major joint military police operation on here in St. James. This is obviously in response to the rampant criminality, the rising murder rate, shootings, and general lawlessness in the area that we've seen in recent times. We are targeting a number of known hotspots and criminal hideouts in search of the gunmen and, very importantly, the guns and the ammunition that has been responsible for the state of crime here, especially in Montego Bay.
The security forces have been deployed to several communities, including Flanker, Norwood, Cambridge, and Rose Heights. There have been several brazen shooting incidents in the tourism capital. The latest incident played out on Tuesday afternoon in the vicinity of the Sangston International Airport, in which one person was shot dead and 3 others hospitalized. Last year, St. James Police Division registered the largest number of homicides in Jamaica at 335. And the media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister is now underway. Our reporter Andrea Chisholm is there. Andrea, what can you tell us?
Thank you very much, Herman. Well, we are here at the office of the Prime Minister, standing by for a press conference. The Prime Minister is expected to address the country talking about crime. So far, we have seen the National Security Minister, Robert Montego. We've also seen from the office of the Prime Minister, Dial Vaz, and we're told that the Police Commissioner, George Coelho, as well as the Chief of Defence Staff, Rocky Mead, is expected to join us for the press conference. Well, we know that crime has been going up. Well, not crime in general, but murders has been going up in Jamaica. For example, if we look at the crime statistics for 2017, which is last year, there has been an overall reduction in serious and violent crime. But let's go on to the statistics for this year. From January 1 to January 13 this year, there has been a 16.2% reduction in serious and violent crime. Shooting, rape, and aggravated assault are down, but it's the murders that are going up. So far, if you compare January 1 to January 13 this year to last year, one would realize that there have been 61 reported murders in comparison to 47, and that means it's up by 29.8%. And for the St. James Division, so far for last year, there were 7 reported murders, and so far this year for St. James, 10 reported murders last year rather for St. James, and so far for this year there have been 6. So we're expecting the Prime Minister to make some general announcements about crime as to what will be happening in St. James. For now, Herman, it's back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much, Andrea Chisholm. In the meanwhile, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips is questioning why the Andrew Holness administration chose at this time for the major operation in Montego Bay. He noted that the rampant increase in violent activities in St. James has left many citizens terrified, and it's now left for a legislative framework to be put into place.
Why it wasn't done earlier, why there were not the responses to the calls for a crime plan, why the zone of special operations was substituted for it.
Dr. Phillips was speaking with TVJ News this morning at the National Prayer Breakfast. In other news, a man was shot and killed in Greendale, St. Catherine a short while ago. Reports indicate that the unidentified man was in his yard when he was approached by a lone gunman who fired several shots at him. He died on the spot. We will have more details on this in primetime news at 7. The investigation report for the cause of a fire at the Walker's Place of Safety on Lyndhurst Crescent in Kingston is being finalized. That's according to State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Floyd Green, who has been following the situation. Speaking on TVJ Smile Jamaica on Tuesday, Mr. Green said the commissioner is expecting a preliminary report before the end of the week and a more comprehensive report next week. The more than 30 children who were displaced by the fire have now been moved from the Faith Apostolic Church to 3 homes across the corporate area. Mr. Green said they are looking to rebuild the facility.
In other words, when a child is in need of care and protection, when the police go in and they have to remove a child immediately, this is one of the first places they bring them. So the type of home is necessary, because after that, then the child would go to court, and the court would determine if they go to one of our other homes. So normally they would move. So some of these might stay, because ultimately they would move or be reintegrated with the family, depending on the circumstance. But we do need a facility that as you find a child, you have somewhere to remove them to. So we have already asked the technical team to look at a cost to rebuild.
The Education Ministry has started the counseling process to help the victims recover from the trauma they experienced during the fire.
We started the process. What we did the day after, well, in the early morning, about 9 now, we got our psychologists to come in. So we have 2 clinical psychologists who came in. We have what we call our Smile Mobile that uses a lot of play therapy. We have a lot of young children there between 4 and 10. So they came in, they brought out the toys, and they started a session with them. And by the time I had gone and came back, they were in much better spirits.
Controversy is brewing following the release of an explosive document compiled by the police about how High Court judges are dealing with gun cases. Dozens of persons who were convicted for illegal possession of gun and ammunition in St. James and 3 other western parishes in 2016 got off easy as High Court judges opted for suspended sentences and fines as low as $70,000. In one case, a St. James man convicted of illegal possession of firearm and ammunition was admonished and discharged. In several other cases, judges opted for probation orders. The document cited 35 cases that were disposed of in the circuit courts in Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland. The most severe punishment, it showed, was a 5-year sentence handed down in the Western Regional Gun Court. Speaking on Smile Jamaica on Wednesday, attorney-at-law Peter Champagne said the sentencing process is a difficult task for judges as a number of factors have to be taken into consideration.
The antecedent report of the accused, whether the accused is likely to reoffend, and they request independent investigation by way of social inquiry reports. And in all the circumstances, they have to take those factors into account and then arrive at a particular decision. It's never easy, and sentences will vary from time to time.
No new taxes. That's according to Finance Minister Audley Shaw as he addressed participants at Mayberry Investments' first monthly forum for 2018 on Wednesday. He signaled that the government will not be introducing any new taxes for the next fiscal year. In addressing the gathering, he said revenue is $13 billion ahead of projection, noting that the country's economy is doing fairly well. Mr. Shaw also noted that modern technology systems will be installed at customs to prevent revenue leakage.
The necessary procedures for the acquisition of modern X-ray units, and we are going to X-ray every container 100%. Barrels, containers, everything coming in will be X-rayed 100%, because all I want is a fair system where everybody pays their duty. And you know something? If everybody pays, we can actually reduce the customs duty.
He noted that the estimates of revenues and expenditure for 2018-19 he will table in the House of Representatives early next month. In news overseas, Donald Trump is insisting that he has remained consistent in his plans for a border wall a day after his chief of staff, John Kelly, told Fox News he has changed his attitude on it. More from the CNN. And we don't have that story. We apologize for the absence there. But we move on to sports as 40 representatives from FIFA member association and confederations will converge on Montego Bay for the next 2 days for the FIFA summit, which will be represented by 3 confederations. The summit will be chaired by FIFA President Gianni Infantino, and topics for the discussion include the FIFA Forward program, the future of youth and women's competitions, and opportunities for improving the transfer system and international match calendar.
Confederations represent and serve the needs of their national associations.
When I got into office, I got a congratulatory message from Matthias, who I think is a personal assistant to Infantino. Then we started to communicate, and he said to me one day that the president wants to do something special for us. The following week, he communicated to me by saying that the president, Gianni Infantino, wants to come to Jamaica for a summit, and the date would be January 18. So like I said, we've been in contact since, and like they say, the rest is history.
And that's the midday news. We're still standing by for the live press conference from the Office of the Prime Minister. We will join that feed as soon as it is ready. Or on behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.